Hello, good morning, guys, and this is Calling with Gautam, and today we're gonna do Forest Flower Grove, Village Rover, Backwoods Fork, and Leave It To Cleaver. So without any further ado, let's begin with Forest Flower Grove. A large forest grove, great for practicing your flower art skills. Array length, accessing properties, strings, variables, vectors, and while loops. And when you go into Concatenating Glaciers, you will dive in with all the vectors. So I just have the monolith, the obsidian breastplate. You can equip all the gear you want. I just have the boss star too. I have thing. All you need is just to practice your flower skill. So this is the main. You don't care about what else you have. All you need is just to have the flower. So all you need is the flowers and the shoes. You don't need anything else because you're not gonna attack. Draw something with at least 1,000 flowers is our goal. You can draw whatever you want, but if you cannot get like too many, if you can't bag that many flowers in the allotted time, what I do is I just go to the borders. So I just go to the borders. Next, then I go through all the borders. And then after he's done that, I asked him to come back over there to get extra flowers. And with that, we have planted 1,000 flowers. This is just a normal way. You just go through all the edges and extend. And then I just get like a big line to compensate. And yeah, so that's it. We finished the level Forest Flower Grove. We didn't use any of these, but this level isn't like a challenge level. It's just a normal level to like enjoy and draw. So all I did was I just went through the borders. Now let's go to the more better coding levels. Village Rover. Patrolling the village can be repetitive. Functions make it easier. Arguments, basic syntax, functions, if statements, variables, and while loops. And next, then you need just the normal equipment. Stop all the ogres and save all the peasants. Patrolling the village can be boring and repetitive. Use functions so you can use many lines of code at once. Find, attack an enemy. If enemy, here attack the enemy. This is the function. While true, you come here, you find and attack the enemy. Now you move to the right part and you find and attack the enemy. So what functions do, instead of that, taking all this code and copy pasting it twice, you keep it in the function. So all this code can just be called under the name called find and attack enemy. So instead of pasting all of this, you can just keep find and attack enemy and it works. But don't forget to keep the brackets. If you don't keep the brackets, it's gone. And he kills all the enemies and lets the friends come through. And in the meanwhile, we planted lots of flowers. And yeah, so we covered functions. We used normal while loops. We used the move command. We used arguments. And we use functions, and let's just talk about a bit more about functions. Def is define. Next thing, you can keep the name of the function over here. You have to keep parentheses. And yep, so we will cover functions more in Sorbin Desert. And if you want to learn more about functions, you can just go and check my videos on Sorbin Desert. And you will learn, they will cover more about functions. And if you want to go lots of in depth, you can check Calvin-Top Glacier and Cloudry Mountains, but I wouldn't recommend that after you finish Sovereign Desert because it might be a bit too complicated. So use a custom function with parameters to simplify your code. This is the thing we have to do in backwards fork. Arguments, basic syntax, functions, if statements, variables, and while loops. So normal same gear. So our goal here is to defeat the ogres like normal. Defeat the ogres. A function is an important concept when writing code. They are used to separate individual and repeatable parts of your code to easier digest pieces. Often sometimes it requires an argument, and I will show you. So check and attack target. This is an argument. The target is just a variable. So when you call the function, you need to define target. So let me just get that in. You need to define target when you're calling the function. Look, see. So next then you come here and top enemy. So target, if there's a target, so instead of defining enemy in the loop, you could just go like target. Let's go like okay target, because it always changes. So bottom enemy, top enemy, and bottom enemy. So you check and attack. So you check if there is a enemy or target. If there's a target, you attack and then you move back to the center. Same thing, top enemy. Okay, so you move there, you define top enemy, and you check and attack the top enemy. Same and same. If you just don't want to go through arguments, you could just take out the target and just define enemy equals = of nearest enemy in the loop. So come up here, you see the enemy, you kill it. And next thing you see the bottom enemy. Same top and bottom, top and bottom. And then you're done with the level. So we just revised functions, and this time we learned that we could use arguments in a function. So you can see that when it's done, you can see that it's the target in the function, the first argument, and it's the top enemy. So same thing, look, see, target, arguments, and it can't come because of the trees. It's the top enemy, first argument, and the target. So you click skip. So now you're done. And then after that you go to leave it to Cleaver. Defend the homestead with function parameters. If and else statements, if statements, nested if statements, strings, variables, and while loops. Same all the good old equipment, cleave sword, basic armor. Don't need this. Or you don't need the boss star. You just need the normal same old equipment. The function cleave when close defines a parameter called a target. Cleave and close target. If the distance to target is less than 5, it allows you to cleave and close. And you have to pass the argument. Same thing. You have to pass the argument or else it's not good. So cleave and close. If the distance to enemy is less than 5, pass. So it means you just pass it to the next statement. This does nothing. If you want, you could just take it out. And next thing, if hero is ready to cleave, cleave, else just attack if you cannot cleave. Enemy, if there's an enemy, cleave and close enemy. So now enemy is same as the target now. Next you cleave, attack, attack. And it just goes on smoothly. And we have killed lots and lots of munchkins with just a normal function. So we could just take out this part and just define enemy over here, like target equals hero, find nearest enemy. But parameters are also used for different reasons. For example, you have this function called add. Okay, so we go and so we call a function add. So you go like define add, and next then you keep number, and number 2. So if you're creating a function like a calculator function, so you'll just type input, and next then go like choose your number. Okay, and since we want a number, we keep int, which is integer. And after we do that, we go like, okay, number equals int input. We do the same thing. And next thing that is number 2. And next thing you do is return. Return just returns the value. Return number plus number 2. And next then all you have to do is just call add. If you want him to input the numbers, all you have to do is just click return number 1 plus number 2, and next then you click. You have to do that. So now you click run. It doesn't work in CodeCombat, but if you go into like another coding engine and type this, it will ask you to type numbers. Or you could just do the input way. And yeah, so that's it for this level. We learned about functions, we learned about isReady, we learned about if loops, nested if loops, else, if and else. So now, final level of the day, friend and foe. A brawl in the woods. Pick out friend from pro and prepare to battle. Basic syntax, if statements, accessing properties, strings, variables, and while loops. Same old equipment, don't need anything new. You can just take out this because we're not even going to use it. Rally the troops. You can bind two strings using the plus operator. This is called concatenating strings. I will not cover this in detail because I already made a video on concatenating strings. You can just check that out. So, friend, if there's a friend, you say to battle plus the friend ID plus that, and next it'll say to battle James. And if you want a space between it, you can just keep like, and next see what it does. There will be like a big space between that. Look, you can see the pace. So next time you rally the troops and friends. And next then the war begins. And this is it. But let's see what happens if we say enemy and we say go away to the friends. Enemy, 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 and next then you ask the find nearest friend to get out. And the ID is just nothing but their name, so you could just type hero.id and next it would say Taran. And it still says success. I don't know why, maybe they thought that the CodeCombat creators thought that no one would just try to fail the level. But we just know we are just here to learn coding, so let's just leave it like this. So friends, you ask the friends to go to battle. So you turn the peasants into soldiers and archers, and you turn the scouts into muskets. These guys pick up their weapons, and these guys pick up their weapons. And everyone starts fighting. And that's it, you rally the troops. So this is it for today's levels. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And let's just watch the finish. Enemy that upsets me, Roger Dodger. That upsets me, Roger Dodger. Upsets me, Roger Dodger. Upsets me, Roger Dodger. Upsets me, and next in the war starts. And next then you finish them. So this is it for today's level. So let's just go. And we see basic syntax. If statements, we used if statements when checking if there was a friend or enemy. Accessing properties, we accessed the properties of the friend ID and used it while concatenating strings. Strings, we made a sentence while mixing the friend ID. Variables, we kept here of find nearest friend, here of find nearest enemy in variables. And while loops, we kept our own code in while loops so that I could keep running. So this is it. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And guys, this is Corning with CodeCombat, and I will see you next time. Have a good day.